with a lot of growth comes inflation. Okay? And they're saying we got to grow our way out of it. Let's deregulate. Let's grow. Okay? They're going to let it run hot. Inflation everywhere. Asset holders win. The bottom 90%. I mean, what were the voting statistics? Over half of America doesn't have a college degree. Those that don't have a college degree, over 90% of them don't own an equity, don't own assets, don't own a house, don't own stocks, don't own anything. It's why one of the reasons I do this show is just begging and pleading to get Bitcoin in the hands of the people. It's one of the rare things we can all get and all own.
The video opens with Mallers revisiting an ongoing theme, the decline of the U.S. dollar. He sarcastically celebrates the performance of the dollar, stating it's off to its worst start in over 50 years, down more than 10% in just 6 months in 2025. Get a load of that shitcoin, he quips, mocking the dollar with the same disdain typically reserved for unbacked cryptocurrencies. According to Mallers, this isn't just another bad stretch. It's the consequence of decades of irresponsible fiscal policy and debt accumulation. The passage of the new Big Beautiful Bill, BBB as he refers to it, marks the final admission that America is out of financial runway. The bill front-loads massive government spending while promising vague long-term cuts that will almost certainly never come. What's the real result? More money printing, more debt, more inflation. The game is over, Jack declares. The gig is up. A new monetary regime is here.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Bitcoin price was, I don't know, lower. Okay? I continue to expect this to play out. So let's check in on how that oh so mighty dollar, did it get weaker? Were we right about that? Yeah. The dollar's off to its worst start since 1973 over the last 6 months. So within this calendar year 2025, the dollar's down over 10%. Over 10%. Get a load of that shitcoin. Get a load of that shitcoin. Next, the big, beautiful bill. The BBB has finally passed. Okay? Let me add my commentary here. What is the relevance of this bill? What are the details? None of them matter. Guess what? We're printing a ton of money. Who could have predicted that? Oh, none other than Bitcoiners. Of course. Bitcoiners saw the Fed and the government having to have, I mean, there's no way that some form of yield curve control, oversight and control over rates. I mean, fiscal dominance is here. It's entered the chat. Nothing else matters because we are living through a debt crisis. There's too much debt. There's been too much money printing. The game is over. The gig is up. A new monetary regime is here. We've been saying it over and over. Honestly, a theme of this show, to be candid, is every single week, things we've been talking about for a decade or for years or for months or for weeks just becomes true. They're saying the quiet part out loud. I cannot believe a sitting Secretary of the U.S. Treasury was just asked on CNBC public television if he's going to also be the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And he didn't say no. You had got to be fucking kidding me. They're saying the quiet part out loud. The dollar is getting annihilated. We've said on this show over and over and over, I can solve all of the U.S.'s problems in 10 seconds. So can you, by the way, listening to this show. It's really simple. Don't be the world reserve currency. It gives artificial strength to your currency and gives artificial strength to your assets. If you want manufacturing back in this country, if you want a competitive labor market, if you want to bring jobs back, do not have an unreasonably strong dollar. If you want to close the wealth gap, if you want a middle class, do not have artificially inflated assets. Period. If you want both of those things, you cannot be the world reserve currency. World reserve currency issuer has to decide between domestic health and global growth. It is not a sustainable solution. It is a temporary solution on the back half of a devastating world war. Period. Period. And we've been saying this on this show over and over and over again. And as Bitcoiners, this has been my 13 years in Bitcoin. The last 12 months has been some of the most, because all the people that told me I was an idiot and told me I was wrong and I was a college dropout and I was a kid and I needed to grow up and I needed to act like a suit, they're all saying the quiet part out loud. This bill, outrageous. Honestly, I don't know. Listen, I've only been alive for so long, right? Some of you listening have been alive longer than I have. So you take this for whatever it's worth. In my lifetime, I've never seen a president do such a 180 so quick. What did Donald Trump campaign on? I'm going to cut spending with Doge. I'm going to get Elon involved. It's Main Street's turn. How many times did we have to hear Donald Trump, Scott Bessent? Wall Street's had their turn. Wall Street's had their shine. It's Main Street's turn. Let's bring back the middle class. The lower class needs our help too. We're going to cut spending. We're going to reduce the deficit by letting Elon, the greatest entrepreneur ever, he's Team America. He's going to be part of us. Okay. What is this bill? The CBO expects the deficit to explode to 7 to 8% of GDP. The bill front loads the spending and delegates the cutting. So it says, we'll save money later. By the way, that never happens. So, okay, write that off. And we're going to spend immediately. The asset holders are going to win. Again, the whole fight for Main Street, protect those that are living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, well, okay. That didn't last very long. The dollar's getting annihilated in their face. Inflation is coming back. Assets are going to soar. I mean, the last thing too is, negative real rates are here. We're living in fiscal dominance. Negative real rates meaning Bessent keeps saying we're going to grow faster than the debt, right? We're going to let it run hot. We're going to let this thing run hot, meaning how do I say? There's such dumb jargon in Wall Street and politics. They're going to let the growth just go. With a lot of growth comes inflation. Okay? And they're saying we got to grow our way out of it. Let's deregulate. Let's grow. Okay? They're going to let it run hot. Inflation everywhere. Asset holders win. The bottom 90%. What were the voting statistics? Over half of America doesn't have a college degree. Those that don't have a college degree, over 90% of them don't own an equity, don't own assets, don't own a house, don't own stocks, don't own anything. It's why one of the reasons I do this show is just begging and pleading to get Bitcoin in the hands of the people. It's one of the rare things we can all get and all own.
The U.S. runs persistent twin deficits, trade and budget, and produces very little of the real goods it consumes. There is no pile of surplus capital waiting to be deployed into these factories. It's all going to be financed by newly issued debt and newly printed dollars. In other words, even policies intended to bring back American greatness are just more fuel for the inflationary fire. Mallers quotes House Speaker Mike Johnson, who hailed the BBB as a major economic booster and announced plans for 2 more stimulus bills, not over the next decade, but within the next year. This, Mallers insists, is the final signal that we've entered a new phase of economic history. Fiscal dominance is no longer a theory, it's official U.S. policy. And Bitcoin? It's reacting accordingly. So is gold. So are commodities. The dollar's 10% fall isn't an accident. It's the result of the global system rebalancing itself away from an unsustainable model. We are entering an era of monetary transition, and as Jack Mallers repeatedly reminds us, it's either buy Bitcoin or be left behind.
Anyways, let's keep the show going. The bill's passed. It's a total front-face 180 on everything that was campaigned on. And listen, this is not, I much prefer this administration. This administration lets me have a bank account. They're supporting Bitcoin, which we'll get into in a second. Don't get me wrong. It's not a political show. I'm not siding with any side. I think the reality of the situation is we're in fiscal dominance. It doesn't matter your intent. It doesn't matter your plan. You have to print the money. You have to debase the debt. Period. 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 Sorry. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Oh, Elon. Oh, Trump. Oh, Besson. I heard that guy was a good money man. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Doesn't matter. It's over. Game over. GG's. Buy Bitcoin or lose. Okay, let's go on. I want you guys to listen to this short little clip tweeted out by Besson today. Here we go.
In the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was made permanent, is the 100% expensing of
that's not talked about much.
Which is very powerful. We also have a 5-year window for 100% expensing for factory structures and agriculture structures. So, to take a tax hit on that is really, you're really winding the spring, and you are creating high after-tax returns on capital, which increase productivity, which is what makes countries rich.
There we go. It's just more saying the quiet part out loud. Let's read the tweet. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is now permanent thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill. This legislation will unleash a manufacturing renaissance through pro-growth policies like the 100% expensing of equipment and 100% expensing for factory and agriculture structures. So we've talked about on this show, you want to bring jobs back. You want to bring manufacturing back. You want to run a smaller deficit or no deficit at all, meaning you want to not just print pieces of paper and export them, but you want to actually produce real stuff. Guys, this is all language for a new monetary regime. A new world where something else is, I hate the term world reserve currency because it isn't a tight enough definition of what that means. Where are people storing their money? Sure, the dollar, my pizza's priced in dollars. Who cares? That doesn't matter. Where's the world store their cash balance? And we'll get to this in a second. This is so utterly clear that we're lessening our world reserve status position. Gold is reacting to that. Bitcoin is reacting to that. The dollar is reacting to that. Down 10% in 6 months. Worst start in 50 years. And they're bringing manufacturing back. Let me ask you guys a question. Or not you literally, but this is, let's just talk out loud. Again, so much of progress and problem solving is about first principles thinking. And for some reason, it's just been squeezed out of society to ever just breathe and think for yourself. If we as a country run persistent twin deficits, we don't make any money. Who is paying to bring all these factories and all these jobs and all this agriculture structure? Who's bringing that back here? Who's paying for that? You got to print the money, right? You got to print the money. You got to print the money. I thought this was hilarious. House Speaker Johnson described the newly passed mega bill as a major economic booster. Economic booster, that's one way to put it. And revealed plans to introduce 2 additional bills within the next year. Not within the next decade. Not within this term. Within the next year. Ladies and gentlemen, Fiscal Dominance has entered the chat. Hey, how are you? Good day and good night.
Jack Mallers lays bare a brutal but necessary truth. The era of monetary discipline is over. The world reserve currency status of the dollar, once a source of power, has become a liability. Fiscal dominance is no longer hypothetical, it's reality. No matter who's in office, the machine must print. This leaves us with two options: accept the slow, grinding erosion of purchasing power or opt out. And for Mallers, the way out is clear. Bitcoin. It's math, it's code, it's incorruptible, scarce, and globally accessible. In a world dominated by centralized monetary manipulation, it offers freedom. Jack's final message: game over. Buy Bitcoin or lose. Please like and subscribe.